Hey friend, before we get back into the episode, I want to offer you something that might deeply support you right now. If you've been feeling stretched thin, if you're carrying that familiar fundraising anxiety, or if you're craving a moment to step out of the pressure and reconnect to yourself, I'd love to invite you into a Brave and Balanced breakthrough session. This is a live one-on-one coaching session tailored specifically to you. As a certified coach and former fundraiser, I work with you beneath the level of surface level mindset tools into the somatic and emotional patterns that shape how you show up, what you believe is possible, and ultimately the results you create. Most fundraisers walk away from this session feeling clearer, steadier, and more able to raise money with ease and freedom. Not because they changed their strategy, but because they got out of their own way and reconnected to their internal source of strength. Right now, this session is $97, and the price will be going up in the coming months. So if you've been thinking, I should do this at some point, let this be your gentle nudge to take action. You can book your session through the link in the show notes, and if something in you feels pulled toward this, trust it. That inner tug is your wisdom speaking. All right, let's get back into the episode. Welcome to the Brave and Balanced Fundraiser, the podcast I wish I'd had during my 15 years as a professional fundraiser. I'm your host, Erin McQuaid-Wright. This is your space to breathe, realign, and reconnect with the part of you that chose this work for a reason. Together, we'll explore tools and practices that help you show up less stressed and spread thin, and more grounded, brave, and on purpose. I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started. Hi, friend. Have you ever noticed that some parts of fundraising feel completely natural to you, and other parts feel like you're walking uphill in sand? Maybe you love donor meetings, but you secretly dread making the actual ask. Maybe you thrive on hitting goals, but you feel crushed when a gift falls through. Maybe you're incredible at building relationships, but you struggle with follow-through. What if none of this is random? Today we're exploring the Enneagram. It's a tool that I use in my coaching practice with one-on-one clients. And we're going to explore how your personality pattern might be shaping the way you fundraise. We're walking through all 9 types today, and for each one, I'm going to name your fundraising superpower, your hidden growth edge, and a magic sticky note that you can carry with you that's going to remind you of where you're growing. And here's the important part. I want you to listen and notice when you feel seen. Because when you understand your pattern, you stop fighting yourself and you start fundraising with more confidence, more clarity, and more calm. Let's dive in. Before we begin, I want to say something important. The Enneagram is not a box. It's not a label. It's not a way to reduce yourself to a number. And there's not one number that's good or best and the other ones are bad. The Enneagram is a lens. And it dates back to, we don't know when, as far as maybe the 2nd century. And there are 9 different types that describe how we make our decisions. We actually carry all 9 types within us, every single one of us. And most of us have one dominant pattern, sometimes 2 patterns that feel strong, but the full range of human personality lives inside of you. So the Enneagram doesn't point to the depth of who you are, your truest self, which is beyond your body, which is beyond your personality type. It's beyond your daily decisions. That's your essence. And your essence is love. What the Enneagram points to is the place you're coming from when you make decisions and who you consider yourself to be, the patterns that you put in place as a young person to make your way in the world and get your needs met. So it's a snapshot of the type of person that you felt like you had to become in order to be successful in your environment. So as you listen today, don't grip too tightly to your number. Just notice what resonates, because fundraising is relational work, and the most important instrument of any donor conversation is you. So if you've ever thought, why does this part of fundraising feel easy for me, but that part feels like climbing a frickin' mountain, this episode is for you. We're going to walk through all 9 types, and we're going to keep it high level and very practical. And for each one, I'm going to offer you your fundraising strength, your growth edge, and a little magic sticky note that you can write out and put up in your office or in your mirror, or even take into your next donor meeting as a little cheat sheet reminder for you. So again, the Enneagram doesn't describe your behavior, it describes your motivation, the come from. 2 different fundraisers can make the same ask using the same very words, but their internal driver is going to be completely different. And donors feel that. They may not consciously be able to put a label on it or name it, but nervous systems talk to each other. So I want to explore with you the 9 types of the Enneagram through a fundraising lens. And I want you to be a detective and notice if there's an internal oof, I've been seen, I feel a little vulnerable. That's a clue that this might be your number. And I'm going to put a couple of links in the show notes that include where you can take the test. There's a free version and a paid version. I'll give you both, and you can decide if you want to take the test, which version, or you can take both. But we're going to take a high-level view at what the types are and how they show up in fundraising. So we're going to do numbers 1 through 9, and I'm starting with number 1, the principled reformer. So if you're a type 1, you're driven by a desire to be good, ethical, and responsible. You want to get it right. Your fundraising superpower is integrity and preparation. You show up organized. You're thoughtful. You're values driven. There's not going to be any typos on a proposal that you submit. Donors trust you because you've done your homework. Now, your growth edge, if you're a type 1, is perfectionism. So you may over-prepare before making an ask. You may wait until the proposal is flawless, which it's never going to be, and you might quietly judge yourself or others when things aren't done right. So that can be a painful place to be stuck. And just notice if that's you. So your magic sticky note, if you're a type 1, your magic sticky note might say, done is generous. Perfect is optional. Your mission doesn't need perfection. It needs movement. So that's something important to keep in mind if you're a type 1. Okay, moving on to type 2, the relational helper. If you're an Enneagram 2, you're driven by the desire to be helpful, appreciated, and connected. And your fundraising superpower is warmth. Oh, you make donors feel deeply seen. And stewardship is your art form. You could teach a master class in stewardship. Your growth edge, if you're a type 2, is avoiding the ask because you don't want to burden anyone, overgiving or overextending. And you might also say yes when you're exhausted. So your magic sticky note as a type 2 might say, asking clearly is an act of love. You're not taking, you're inviting. That's an important distinction for you to know if you are a type 2. Type 3, the achiever. You are driven to succeed and accomplish meaningful goals. You're a powerhouse. Your fundraising superpower is results. You move campaigns forward, you understand metrics, you create momentum, and you check off those goals. Your growth edge, if you're a type 3, is over-identifying with outcomes. And maybe when a donor says no, it can feel like a personal failure. You might push yourself too hard or subtly pressure others because you've got such a strong drive. So your magic sticky note as a type 3 might say, I am valuable beyond the numbers, because you are. You're not your numbers. Number 4, the individualist. You are driven by authenticity and depth. You are a deep diver. Your fundraising superpower is emotional intelligence. You can tell deep stories that move people. You understand meaning, nuance, and longing. And for you as a type 4, your growth edge is letting the mood dictate your momentum. So moving when you feel like moving. And that can be a little stunting in terms of what you can get done. Your growth edge is also withdrawing if you feel misunderstood, perhaps comparing yourself to others. I can really relate to this. This is kind of like a freeze state of until I can really feel like I'm successful, I won't be successful. So let me just sit out on the sidelines. So if you're type 4, your magic sticky note might say, consistency amplifies my authenticity. I'm more authentic when I'm consistent and showing up for the work that's laid out for me. Your depth is powerful, but it's consistency that funds the mission. Type 5, you're the investigator and you are driven by competence and knowledge. Your fundraising superpower is research, strategy, thoughtfulness. You understand your programs inside and out, and that's great for a fundraiser. Sometimes we do that really well, and sometimes we don't, and our programs colleagues wish that we knew the programs better because donors have questions about that. So you anticipate the donor questions before they ask them. Your growth edge as a type 5 is staying in analysis instead of connection. I'm just going to hang out here and gather more information rather than connecting with the information I have. So you might also be conserving your energy by limiting meetings. You might be withholding until you feel fully prepared. So your magic sticky note might say, connection multiplies my competence. I'm more competent when I'm connecting beyond just doing the research. Your knowledge becomes powerful when it's shared. Type 6, the loyal guardian. You are driven, if you're a type 6, you're driven by security and preparedness. That means your fundraising superpower is dependability. You think through risk before taking action. You anticipate obstacles. You can see around corners. That's a superpower. You are steady and committed. But the growth edge of the Enneagram type 6 in fundraising is second guessing yourself or imagining worst case scenarios in donor relationships. You can see exactly how it can go wrong. And sometimes you can seek reassurance before taking action. I can really relate to this in my fundraising career as well. I could do the whole, it's a beautiful mind equation, like writing it out on the glass in a marker of all the equation of how it could go wrong. And sometimes that came in really handy because I could see problems that people couldn't. But sometimes it did keep action from taking place because it was like hanging out in what could go wrong. That's not a place of momentum. That can be a place where dreams go to die. And if you're a type 6, you do sometimes run the risk of being seen as the dream killer. Good to know. So your magic sticky note as an Enneagram type 6 could be this sentence: I can move forward even with uncertainty. Because guess what? Uncertainty is not going anywhere. It's going to be with you. It's going to be around. So waiting for it to go away is not really an actionable strategy for your deepest level of success in fundraising. So you can remember Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's regulated action, nervous system regulated action in the presence of fear. That's the Jedi move for type 6. Okay, type 7, the enthusiast. A fundraiser who is a type 7 is driven by possibility and optimism. So your fundraising superpower is energy, vision, inspiration. You can help donors see what could come about with their support. And that means you spark excitement. For an Enneagram 7, your growth edge is going to be avoiding discomfort, skimming the surface instead of going deep. And my coach calls this building 100 1-foot wells instead of building 100-foot well. Deep. That can feel a little itchy to you. Sometimes resisting detailed follow-through can crop up in a fundraiser who's an Enneagram type 7. Good to be aware of, not a judgment. So your magic sticky note as a type 7 could say, depth creates the freedom I crave. Depth creates the freedom I crave. Structure doesn't actually trap you, it liberates you. Type 8, the challenger. Okay, an Enneagram type 8 who is a fundraiser is driven by strength and protection, and their superpower is boldness. If this is you, you're not afraid to make the ask. Hallelujah, we need you, 8s. You can handle major gift conversations without flinching, and this is really important. Your growth edge is intensity or coming on too strong. You might struggle with vulnerability, which is the magic sauce that we use as humans to connect with each other, right? It's Leonard Cohen said, it's the cracks that let the light in. So your magic sticky note, if you're an Enneagram 8, might say, power plus softness builds trust. So your strength is magnetic and so is your openness. So don't be afraid to get curious about what you feel and that vulnerability side, because people will actually draw closer to you. And as a fundraiser, that's what you want. Okay, the final type, type 9, is the harmonizer. If this is you, you're driven by peace and stability. And that means your fundraising superpower is a really calm presence, like that placid lake. You listen beautifully, donors feel safe with you. But your growth edge is avoiding tension, maybe hesitating to name the dollar amount directly in your ask, merging with your donors' preferences and losing clarity over what you want to come out of a meeting. So your magic sticky note, if you're a type 9, might say, my clarity protects my harmony. Clarity protects harmony. You know, directness does not destroy peace, it strengthens it. So that's a growth edge for the type 9 as well. So you might recognize yourself in one of those patterns, or you might say, I'm a couple of those different numbers there. That's okay too, because some people have not one clear front runner in terms of their Enneagram type. My type is a number 9, and that helped me really create beautiful environments where donors felt like they could just talk to me. My colleagues felt like they could come to me. One of the good things about a 9 is we tend to be non-judgmental. We're still human. And people can feel if they're in a more of a judgment-free zone, and they kind of will gravitate toward 9s for that. But one of the things that was costly about that for me was I was happy to be my 9 self and supporting other people around me. And if I wasn't careful, I could be pouring out all of my 9-ness, my 9 peaceful energy to my colleagues, to others who were not the donors, right? That idea of merging with others' needs rather than prioritizing your own. It was easy for me to look up at the end of the day and go, oh my gosh, where did my time go? Well, so-and-so showed up and they needed something from me, and so-and-so reached out and I wanted to be there for them. And that's a real downside of the 9, because here comes my annual review and it's like, well, what have you done? Well, I supported every member of this team in different ways and provided guidance. And, that's not all I did. I was still raising money, of course, but it was really easy to see how, if I was comparing myself to an 8, for example, I would shy away from making that strong ask because there was a misunderstanding that I carried with me at the time that if I ask you, my potential donor, for a gift, that I'm going to harm our relationship. That's really important to know. If I'm in that conversation now with a potential donor, I can say, oh, that's my tendency to prioritize the relationship over tension. Got it. It's in the room with me. Got it. But if I don't clock that, if I don't see this is the 9 shadow showing up here, then it's just running me in the background. It's just, I think this is just me. I can't make the ask, or I have to make a smaller ask, or I have to ask in a way that softens the need. And the donor wants to give to a real pressing need. So that's some of the ways that the 9 showed up in my fundraising. And the real shift is in that magic sticky note. The one that really spoke to you, that magic sticky note is something I want you to write down and put in your awareness and just be like, aha, let me grow in this direction today. Did you ever put a plant on your desk or by the window and you come back and you check on it in a few days maybe, and the plant is tilted? It's tilting toward the sun. And if you want it to grow straight, you can turn the pot 180 degrees so it grows in the opposite direction, and you can keep doing that. And as the plant grows, you're helping it grow more straight because you're not leaving it in that one sideways position. So this is what the magic sticky note is meant to do for you. It's meant to be the rays of sun that you're going to lean gently toward and say, how can I grow in this direction today? How can I apply this idea today in my work? My hands aren't tied because of my Enneagram number. Oh, because I'm a 9, I never make asks because I don't want to ruin a relationship with a potential donor. No, I do make asks. But it's really helpful to know that this motivation that I picked up from years and years and years ago is here. This motivation of wanting to protect the relationship above all else is here in the room with me. Good to know. So it helps you break the unconscious pattern and make a decision to become your regulated self, where you just say, okay, am I actually going to damage the relationship with this question? Probably not. The donor is already here. They're leaned in. They're giving to the organization, or they're asking good questions. It's probably not actually true that I'm going to jeopardize the relationship if I make an ask. So let me feel the safety of the moment that's actually here, rather than assuming the worst, and let me make the ask from that place of calm regulation. So here's the real takeaway. Your personality is not the problem. The unconscious patterning is the problem that you're running into. And sustainable fundraising doesn't require that you change your number. It requires that you know your strength, that you are able to name your growth edge, and that you're able to regulate your nervous system before you act. So before your next donor meeting, I want you to pause and ask, what part of my pattern is likely to show up here? Then take a slow breath. Make the exhale longer than the inhale. And choose your best self, not your automatic one. I want to reinforce here that we need every number of the Enneagram in fundraising. We need integrity. We need warmth. We need courage and strategy and depth and harmony. And you're not broken because one part of fundraising feels harder for you. That's a very human experience. It's the pattern that you're coming into this job with. So better to know that the pattern is there than to just say, oh, I'm not getting it. This job's too hard. Let me go to another job and find it easier there. So here's the question I'll leave you with today. And you might want to journal about this or talk with a fundraising bestie about it. What would fundraising feel like if you stopped fighting your wiring and started leading it? What would fundraising feel like if you stopped fighting your wiring and started leading it? Aha, that might look like, this is that part of me that wants to get it perfect before I make the ask. I see you, my love. Thank you for trying to protect me. You get to be here, but I'm going to go forward with making the ask. And if you'd like support understanding your patterns more deeply, not just intellectually, but in your body, you're welcome to explore working with me. The link is in the show notes. Before we close, here are a few takeaways I hope you're carrying with you. Number 1, your personality is not the problem. Your unconscious pattern is. Awareness turns reactivity into choice. Number 2, every Enneagram type has a fundraising superpower. There's no best number for raising money. We need integrity, warmth, courage, vision, strategy, and steadiness. So your wiring is useful. Number 3, your growth edge is where sustainability lives. The very thing that makes you strong can become your stress point if it's left unexamined. Number 4, donors feel your internal state. Whether you're coming from anxiety, pressure, perfectionism, or calm clarity, it communicates. Regulation matters. And maybe the biggest one, number 5, you don't have to become a different number to be a better fundraiser. You simply have to become more conscious of yourself. So here's the question I'll leave you with. What would shift in your fundraising if you honored your wiring instead of judging it, instead of beating yourself up? And if you'd like support understanding your pattern more deeply and applying it in real time, not just intellectually, but somatically, you're always welcome to explore working with me. The link is in the show notes. Until next time, stay brave and stay balanced.